With a nose as big as his, even Christopher knows his death sucked. Welcome back to Fog Entertainment. It's the last time we're talking about this death, so we're just going to wrap it up quickly here. Did his death suck? 166 votes later. We've got two answers, yes or no. But before we dive into it, you obviously had it spoiled that he died. I didn't the first time round. What would you have thought if you didn't know he died that way? And that you get hit with that 5 minutes into episode 18?
I'd have felt cheated. I'd have felt like it was a dream that Tony's going to wake up and Christopher's going to be at the front door. Yo, Tone! I just cannot believe they killed off such an important character. I think the second best character of the entire series, they killed off with his nose being held by Tony. I mean, you could argue like it doesn't really matter how he dies. The point is Tony's killing him. Tony's putting him down because Tony feels like he's a liability or whatnot. But I've just never seen such a just a more pathetic way for somebody to go out. Just a wee hold of the nostrils.
Yeah.
And closing off that, that airway to them. It's like, what the fuck?
It's undefendable, pal. I think if Twitter, right, and social media existed a wee bit more prominently back in 2007, I think this episode would be getting bashed. Way more than it is. You go on Reddit and other, forums of those websites, and people do call this out, but then people kind of spin it all, but Chris deserved to die. He was a useless junkie. It was Tony finally saw it as an opportunity to kill him, but say Christopher Moltisanti's your favourite character, and a lot of people actually have him as your favourite character, right? And say you're watching it. See if your favourite character goes out like this, man. I remember watching the first time. I genuinely stopped caring the last 3 episodes, and I was like, "What is actually the purpose of this show anymore?" I mean, like you've spent 8 years building up this character, 6 seasons, just for him to get killed by the nose lock of doom. I thought it sucked, man. There's no changing it. And it's not some throwaway character. We can debate and discuss it all we want. And yeah, I think Tony could have killed him in a magnitude of different ways. I just think holding his nose was incredibly fucking cheap. Like,
yeah, because look, I when you look at Breaking Bad, I think the Jane death's really good. And he doesn't even hold her nose; he just lets her. But it's just, I just think from a mob boss perspective, I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? I think if Chris OD'd and Tony just sat there, I could almost
watched him or something, that may have been a better visual.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's like, you're weak or something. You can be like bad mouthing him while he's choking on his whatever.
Or maybe he asked him for help and he just doesn't give him it.
Aye.
Turns his back.
No, yeah, it could just be something as simple as that, but another thing is, it looked like Chris was going to die anyway. He was coughing up a shit ton of blood. So that's not me spinning a mercy kill. Like, would it have been better if Tony did phone an ambulance?
Has anybody tried to spin it that way? Has any of the writers or the show creator?
I'm sure.
Is anyone actually?
Some people have said he probably would have died anyway.
Does anyone think that's the reason? Is that anyone genuinely believe Tony may have looked at that as
I don't
his misery rather than
the way? But it's not like Tony had remorse.
No,
or announced a sadness on his face while he did it.
It was more so here. Chris isn't going to pass this. He's looking at the baby seat where the tree was, and he's thinking, "Fuck, this guy's a liability." It wasn't more, "Oh my god, my nephew's dying here.
Aye.
I need to put him out his misery. He's in pain."
I know, I know by this point the relationship's strained, but if this was, look at AJ when he jumped in the pool. Tony's arse folded. My baby.
And their relationship is strained over there.
Extremely strained, so this is beyond saving. But 34% said no, but the majority said 66% that yes, it did suck. And you know what? That makes for a surprise. Normally on this channel we actually kind of agree with the minority, so yeah, majority. But we'll dive into the comments. Right, Russell Jones says it did for Chris. I guess it did suck for him, getting his nose squeezed to death. What's going through Chris's skull? He's probably thinking, here, he's going to save me.
Yep.
Uncle Tony. He said to Adriana, that's the guy I'm going to hell for. And he fucking looks like he did go. And our last comment for Les. What sucked was his wife and dog's death. He was a liability. Yep, little Corzette crawled under his arse for warmth and he sat on him.
Did you think Chris meant to kill that dog?
No, he was drugged at his head.
Mm. You know what? Should Chris have left with Adriana?
Yeah, I think he should have, but he looked at he seen that family and went, it's no for me.
But once he decided that, he seemed to live in season 6 wanting a family, but not with his family.
Yeah.
All,
Oh, he,
all, the,
he
all, the,
hasn't shown one bit of gratitude, and I gave up my life for him.
all he really wanted after Adriana was gone was Adriana
Yeah.
and a family. He just didn't want it with the woman that wasn't Adriana.
That relationship as well with Kelly, just another forced bag of shite. That
Also,
no one
but yeah, but like, I mean, just doesn't Tony take into consideration that AJ was about to be a dad? I mean, Christopher was about to be a
Well, he
dad.
was already a dad at this
Already a
point.
dad, like, or did he look at it as, "Here, I'm doing this kid a favor"?
He did look at the baby seat and there was a tree for it, so maybe
No, but fuck, it was an accident.
I
We've
know.
seen Tony take panic attacks.
Sure, look at Tony and Adriana, they crashed the car.
Yeah,
What if AJ's booster seat at the age of 17 fucking,
I don't know. I just look
imploded
at
with he.
I just look at what's happening with like the whole you know, Chris pretty much accusing them of an affair, wanting to kill Tony, going into the club with his gun out, and then the whole Adriana being revealed as a rat. I just think that there was a better way for Tony to kill Chris. There's
Yeah.
definitely a better story, and there's better opportunities than just a random car crash, and then Tony just decides, you know what, this guy's got to go.
I know, but perfect opportunity for him to get away with it, I
Maybe,
guess.
or like I said, like when like Chris essentially almost put a hit on Tony himself, didn't he, when he came into the club with the gun loaded?
Yeah.
And then with Adriana, like you maybe had the possibility of Tony not believing Chris, thinking that maybe he was in on it.
Aye. Something like that.
You know, I think they could have done a lot better. I think they definitely could have went a different direction.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen.
But see, to me, this would have just been like if Tony fucking just on the boat put Holly in a chokehold and choked him out and killed him. Because,
He was pissing him off.
He was speaking to New York or whatnot. I don't know if I can trust him. I don't know if he's trustworthy. Just like
But see, look at the way Silvio
he's a
killed
liar.
Bert.
He's a
Killed
liar.
Bert.
Yeah, no.
Technically, I think if Tony killed Paulie, it was more justified than this. But people are saying that David Chase and apparently Gandolfini said that they needed an event to make Tony irredeemable, and killing Chris was that. But you know what? Because they didn't want people to idolize him. People get idolized, right? All the time. Way worse people than Tony Soprano.
Honestly, I don't think that. I don't think. See if you love Tony. See if you're a massive fan. I don't think Tony killing Chris is going to change it. Because
Yeah,
like,
he's
that-
not one
there-
doing in my estimation for doing it.
there is that liability aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, you can think Tony was wrong for doing it, but I don't think people are all of a sudden going to stop caring about Tony just because he done that.
You're right. It's not like he killed Bobby for no reason, who's not been a liability. You know what I mean? It's not like, it's not like he dropped Bobby
After
for
that fight, because he was embarrassed that.
Aye. Yeah, that would have been alright. That's too far, but you're right. There's excuses with Christopher anyway, guys. The excuses are over for the Sopranos. Dropped the ball far too many times for Fog Entertainment's liking. Till next time, peace.